Hello S2. This week we're starting a new topic of probability. So what we're going to be learning about is we're going to be learning about the language that we use while calculating probability and thinking about the sort of options that we have. We're also going to be learning about how to represent it numerically and the mathematical notation that we would use. So how we would lay it out and how we know that we're talking about probability and not just some random numbers. So what is probability? Well, when we talk about probability, we talk about the chance or the likelihood of an event taking place or something happening. If I think about saying the statement, is it going to rain in Scotland tomorrow? The words that come to mind are likely, it's possible, maybe, it could, and this is the sort of thing that we're going to be focusing on. We tend to have 5 keywords that let us know. So we have certain, which means that 100% it's going to happen. Likely, so that means that there's quite a high chance, but it also couldn't happen. An even chance, which is also known as a 50-50 chance. Okay, some of you who play football will know that you have a 50-50 tackle, meaning that it could go either way. Unlikely, and then the word that we use to describe something that has absolutely no chance of happening is impossible. Okay, so we're going to be in level 2 here. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be going through these questions and then you're going to be picking one of the following words that's there to describe the situation. For if you look at the question, so Will's places cards numbered 1 to 8 face down on the table, and if he picks one card at random, how likely is it that he will choose the card with a 3 on it? So that means he's got 1 chance out of 8 possible cards. For me, I would say, well, it's definitely not certain because they're not all with a 3 on it. Is it likely? Is the majority of them have a 3 on it? An even chance? Do half of them have a 3 on it? No. Unlikely? Does a couple of them or one of them have a 3? Yep. And then impossible would mean that there would be no 3 in there. So it can't be impossible. The chances are it's unlikely. Okay? Because it's only 1 out of an 8 chance. He will choose a card with the number 1 to 6 on it. Well, that's a lot more cards in there, isn't it? Okay? That is 6 possible cards out of the 8. So what word do you think is better to describe that? Okay? And that's the manner that you're then going on to answer these questions here. Okay? Then gives you some particular examples. For example, this one here, Sarah tosses a £2 coin in the air. What's the probability that it will land showing a tail? Well, you need to think about that. Why do we flip a coin to decide the start of a match? Okay, is it fair? And that's how these need to go through these questions, okay? Lots of different examples, all right? Thinking about the language. Then in level 3, we're kind of pushing on a little bit. Those who are doing level 2, next week we'll push it on into looking at the numbers and how to deal with that. Some of you are probably quite competent and have already understand the whole language side of it. If that's the case, then level 3 is probably better for you. And that's when you're going to be thinking about how much something has in chance. Maybe you can do both of them. I'm not saying just do one or the other. You do as much as you possibly can. So if you start at level 2 and you need to push into level 3 because you think I can do that, that's great. If you're finding level 3 a little bit too tough, don't worry about it. We'll get to that step soon. Okay, so what you'll notice here is you want to read this bit. So the probability of an event happening is a measure of how likely it is that it will occur. So the notation that we use is we have a capital P and then we have a bracket. And what we do is we write the probability of what we're trying to find in that bracket. And it's the number of favourable outcomes compared to the number of possible ways it can occur. So if we think about a dice, right, the probability of rolling a 4 is found as follows. So there's only one 4 on a dice, all right? But there's 6 sides on a dice. So that means that the probability of us rolling a 4 is 1 in 6. And we can write that as this capital P bracket 4, because that's what we're trying to find the probability of, is equal to 1 in 6. All right. The other example they have here is the 3 ways that the number can be even is 2, 4, and 6, so compared to the 6 possible outcomes. So that means we have 3 outcomes out of a total of 6. So the probability is 3 in 6. We can actually simplify that because we can divide the 3 and the 6 by 3, and it becomes 1 in 2, as you can see over here. That's what you're going to be doing in these questions here. So question 1, a jar has 1 green, 5 red and 4 blue marbles in it. It's got a picture over here to help you as well on the right hand side. If a marble is chosen at random, we want to find these probabilities. So how many marbles do we have altogether? Because that's going to be the basis of how many possible outcomes we have. Well, if we count them up, or if we add up our numbers, we've got 10 marbles. So everything is going to be out of 10. Well, the probability of picking green. How many green marbles is there? There's 1. So the probability of green is 1 in 10. Probability of red. How many red marbles do we have? 4 red marbles. Well, that can't quite be right because it says 5 red marbles. So, yeah, 5 red marbles out of 10. If we want to simplify that, then we can say the probability of red is 5 in 10, which is the same as 1 in 2 chance, just like the probability that we looked up above here. Okay, then you're going to go through these questions all the same way. They do get a little bit more difficult the further you go on, but you just need to try and do as much as you can. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a PowerPoint tomorrow in the live lesson, so it's important that everybody logs on. If you can't log on, then I'm going to upload the PowerPoint with all the descriptions and the help that you need as well. Okay, and that's all you need to know for your lessons this week in terms of what you're actually focusing on. On Wednesday, you will have another small assessment as you have done the past couple of weeks. And you'll also be expected to take part in the Sumdog Perth and Kinross contest this